wife had had breast cancer. And in the course of her chemotherapy, she was going to lose her hair. And so he and his wife went out and went online and found that there was this concept where if you put a cold cap on the skull, it restricted the blood flow due to vasoconstriction. Therefore, the chemotherapy agents don't get to the hair follicles. So, we put this business together. So, what's the problem statement? Women don't want to lose their hair when they have chemotherapy. What's the solution? We have a proprietary machine that's gone through clinical trials that sits in the oncology center, the woman wears during the treatment and for a couple of hours after the infusion. What are the outcomes? 98% plus satisfactory outcomes with 85% or better hair retention. Proof of concept. Do I need to tell you or prove to you whether or not I'm going to get a market? Competitive insulation. We built the machine. We're capitalized. We're the only company with a clinical trial. And we have exclusive distribution agreements with all the major oncology centers across the U.S. There are 350,000 chemotherapy treatments a year in the U.S. Our machine costs $10,000. Each treatment costs, is a trick question, $500. How many treatments do I have to have before I pay for my machine? Time's up. Yeah, four or five patients, right? 5 treatments. My competitive insulation is first movers. Management team. I got a bunch of Volvo engineers in Sweden making this machine. I've got a team of business people and dedicated cancer survivors who want to run this thing across the marketplace and make it available in every center. And I got a leadership team and capitalization to expand the business. The P&L, back to my question, I can pay for my machine with the first 5 patients, a market of 350,000. What's my market share need to be? Not very much. How many machines can I make at 10,000? Crank them out like popcorn. So it's a scale-up institution. Okay, everybody, who wants to invest? We raised $10 million. We took a controlling interest in the company because we were able to put the money together and help them make this happen. In hindsight, it's very easy to tell that story. Looking forward at a business proposition, it's not so easy. I understand that. There are a lot of blank screens that we look at trying to figure out how do we pitch our case. But if I can leave you with one suggestion, if you focus on building these 7 slides first, 7 pieces of paper, put them out on the table, write them, and give yourself the pitch and see if it makes any sense. And then with your friends and families and build that deck out, right? So that you've got the support behind it. If you start with 150 slides and all this gobbledygook, you can't get the clarity of thinking. And if you take that confusion in front of an investor, they're not going to get it. They're not going to invest in your company. They're not going to get excited. Because the yield rate on these things, we're only investing 2, 3, 4% of the companies we see every year, and we're pretty high. It's a pretty high rate. So, you know, the odds are against you raising money. So you really, and why? It's not because we think the companies are bad. It's just that, you know, you don't catch all the fish. You just want to catch a few good ones, right? Just that's how we build a portfolio. And if you come in with those slides, 7 slides, and you don't get anywhere, you might be able to ask the question and get a meaningful answer as to why you're not interested in my company, because you've given them a reason, you've given them enough information to react to. But most of us in the Midwest are too polite to say, I don't like the way you look, or I didn't think you really gave me credibility, or I don't think you know what you're talking about. You don't want to have that meeting, right? So we say something that doesn't work. It's too small. We're not in that segment. Or, you know, we give you all kinds of... One last piece of advice is never take literally the feedback that an investor that tells you they're not interested gives you. Never take that literally. It'll drive you crazy. Listen real carefully to the people who are thinking about investing. Try to solve their problems. If we go off and try to solve all the noise that people politely give to us in the investment community about why we're not going to invest, find somebody who will really spend some time with you and help you business. That's what I-10 does, right? That mock angel program. We've got other programs now. It's all designed to help you run through the traps so that you're prepared with basic answers. And those people have a non-financial interest in helping you get through this to get ready so that when you come to the angels, you've got a pitch deck that resonates with us and we can understand. And as to whether or not we're going to put a group together that's going to be interested in investing. That's simple of a process. But I have been involved with teams who have been such effective listeners to the feedback that we have spent months chasing phantom issues around, trying to resolve them. And sometimes you just have to sit back and say, is that a meaningful suggestion? Is that something I need to react to? Am I getting that same feedback 3 and 4 times? Well, then maybe you need, think about it differently. But don't chase those phantom issues. Any more questions? We're about out of time. Please.
Slide deck, I understand these are the 7 most important slides, and you're going to build them out. Do you prefer that they're built out later on so that you're going through these 7 points, and then if you want more information?
I'm talking about, this is what I want to see at the pre-screening meeting for the St. Louis Archangels. These 7 slides. That's it. You got 20 minutes, you have 15 minutes. If you can go through this in 10 or 15 minutes, that gives me 5 minutes to have a quality follow-up conversation and make a judgment. Because believe me, in those 15 minutes, I will have made a decision about whether or not you're ready to go on to the next phase of the angel investment process. I may not be able to, we try to give feedback, we try to coach, but it's not always the best. It can't always be insightful because it's hard to tell somebody you know so little about what you're doing that we can't help you. It's not, we're too nice. Yeah.
Knowing the fact that not every angel knows the subject well, in different way, what would be your suggestion from our side to go and pick the right engine or the one that we think, or at least establish that he knows what we are doing? Because
Very important.
biotech is different than high-tech.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You want to find in early stage angel investors who can intellectually grasp what you're doing. If they don't, they're not going to be
Don't
valuable.
pitch to anyone, to everyone.
No, don't pitch to.
So, for example, if we go to the average engine, is it a group or individual that we have to